Last region of first round is short shorts and white legs region, because back in the day, that's where I was. So John Stockton, the number one seed overall in this region, and his first matchup. Oh, I didn't put it down. Wasn't prepared. Or all the way down. John Stockton, number 2 overall, versus former Illini, Derek Harper. All right, so let's go. Raymond, what do you got in this
I'm
one?
the
Do we need to
Illini
say
guy here.
much?
No, this is, as much as I love my Illini guys and Derek Harper, this is John Stockton.
It's like Tyra Banks, fool. Anyone else? We can talk
No.
about John Stockton later, right? Okay.
Bird.
All right. Then we've got De'Aaron Fox, one of the, younger generation, versus Mike Bibby, old school. Not his the Mike Bibby of the NBA, not the what was that tournament he played in?
The 3 whatever, right?
Big
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too big. All right, Mark, start this one off.
I got Mike Bibby, and I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be really good. He's already proven that. Mike Bibby, I mean, he won a national title in college. He was a huge part of the success of the Kings. Once he got to the league, I just think he had a phenomenal career. He was a great distributor, solid defender, and he could knock down shots. I loved watching Mike Bibby play. I think he's a winner.
All right, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm going Mike Bibby as well. I know he had a great career. I was actually able to watch a little bit of Mike Bibby, so I can speak from experience watching him. De'Aaron Fox, I think, is, like Mark said, I think he's gonna have a really good career, and just kind of picturing him in the future, I think he's gonna be very good and hopefully be a part of some successful teams. But just because of what Mike Bibby did through his career and what he's accomplished, I'm going Mike Bibby.
Ray?
Coach Mark, what did I go with on that one?
You went with Mike Bibby.
Okay. I feel like my memory of that one is I had like a lean one way, and I did look up stats, and I felt like that swayed my pick, but I wasn't sure. Mike Bibby. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. He's another headband guy?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's 4-0 Mike Bibby. Though, like I said, De'Aaron Fox is going to be really good, especially as he gets a little more talent around him. The next
let's come back to that in 4 years. Let's redo that discussion in 4 years. I don't know that I'll stay the same.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly. Ben Simmons versus Terry Porter. Tyler, why don't you start this interesting matchup? Let's go to Mark, because he's been talking all tournament long about point guards that can't make shots, but here's a guy that can change a game without being able to make a jump shot. So, Mark, start with this one.
Okay. I will change my words or my reasoning on this one. Ben Simmons, with his size and ability, I get it. He can't shoot. It drives me crazy. But he hit a three-pointer this year, a couple, and hopefully we'll see more in the future. But I've seen him, what he is able to do if you put the right pieces around him. At that, how tall is he really? I mean, he's
listed at 6'10", right?
He's listed 6'10". I don't know exactly with that. So he's what, 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah, so he's big, he's strong. I think he can get in the paint, but I just don't like the way their team's put together, and I think that's my problem right now. But I think you take him with his ability to defend, pass, create, attack, post up. He's a matchup nightmare. Again, his ability to do that and be a dominant player in the paint kind of can counter that. I would still make him be in the gym shooting about 500 threes a day, making 500 threes a day before he could leave practice. But I can't go against Ben Simmons. And I love Terry Porter. He was a great player. But yeah, I'm not. I'd be dumb to take anybody, Terry Porter over Ben Simmons.
Terry Porter, Division III baller, but Ben Simmons is kind of what Magic Johnson was back in the day. I mean, with what he can do. I mean, Magic, what the matchup and his vision. Now he's a more athletic Magic, which makes him even more dangerous. But what he can do with the ball in his hand, it's tough, and he can develop any type of jump shot, kind of like Magic did towards later his career. Woo! Look out.
Yep.
Anyone else?
No, I think you guys hit it on the head. Oh, go ahead, Tyler. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I would go definitely Ben Simmons. Just kind of your prototypical positionless basketball player. And I think the one thing that's intriguing about Ben Simmons, aside from his, what he can do as a point guard, is you can do so much with him. If you want to move him off the ball and post him up, I mean, there's more than likely going to be a mismatch there. So not only is he a great point guard, but he can just do so much for your team.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Another one. Uncle Russ Westbrook versus Lou Williams. Ray.
I go Russell Westbrook. He's one of my favorite modern basketball players. Statistically more than anything, what he does. Now, Lou Williams would probably be on my team coming off the bench, any modern team that I put together. But Russell Westbrook wins this one every time for me.
Tyler?
Yeah, I'm going Russell Westbrook. If there was any basketball player in the game today that I could choose to run with, it would 100% be Russell Westbrook. I mean, the guy's just an absolute dog. He gives it everything he has day in and day out. He's going to stick up for his teammates. And, if I had to go to battle with anyone, it'd definitely be Russell Westbrook.
Mark?
I'll go with Russell due to the matchup. We'll get into it later. This is one that we're going to definitely have a little bit of a discussion on, and I love getting into these about Russ. But and 100%, Tyler, 100% correct. He gives you more than 100% every night he's out there, and I love that about him. And he's fun to watch, but he's not running my team.
He is, he's one of my favorites just because, his toughness, and he's kind of that alter ego of mine. He's so confident. I'll use a better word, where I should wish I had a little bit more of that, but he's toughness and he has no fear. So, all right. Yeah. Steph Curry versus D'Angelo Russell. Ray.
Steph Curry. I think when we put our teams together last week, he's on my team. So, I think that speaks volumes, especially if you look at my team. I think it's, more of people that I watched in the 80s, 90s. He was one of the only modern day guys on the team. I will say, D'Angelo Russell and maybe some of the other matchups on the bracket, he could have advanced in the second round, but I think this is a blowout here, Steph Curry.
Tyler?
Yeah, I'm going Steph Curry all the way. I mean, there's more I'll get into later probably when we're talking about Steph Curry, but he gets my vote.
Yeah, I know, Mark, you're all Steph Curry. He was on your team. D'Angelo, I'm waiting for him. He's just that guy. He's potentially better than what he plays. And, what he's been in a year, 3 or 4 years, and he's been on a new team, kind of shows the type of guy almost that he is. Unfortunately, unless I'm wrong, but I'm, just talking about point guards, we're running a team. Obviously, Steph is special, but what's up with D'Angelo? Anything, Mark?
No, I don't. I'm not. I don't want to. Steph's got this. You nailed it with D'Angelo. I don't think that. I just don't think he's a great leader. He doesn't defend either. Like, he doesn't try to defend like he's capable of. People talk about Steph Curry not being a great defender. However, he's one of the top steals guys in the league. He just physically doesn't have the same body and the frame to guard some bigger guards, but he plays hard. He defends. D'Angelo has the potential to, because he's a strong guard, but he just doesn't care to, which is why him and Cat are a match made in heaven in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching, Heat Warriors. They was on ESPN, one of their matchups in the playoffs, and they would switch on, and Steph would have to take LeBron, and he just battled. I mean, and the toughness he shows even with his build.
Yep.
All right, Rondo versus Kenny Anderson. Tyler, I know you've caught Rondo in his now, but do you know anything Kenny Anderson?
I know a little bit. Obviously, I had to do a little bit of research on Kenny Anderson, but I'm still going with Rajon Rondo. Great playmaker, great facilitator. If I was picking a point guard for my team, I really do like the traditional point guards that make everyone around them better and get the ball in the hands of the right people. So, I just remember highlights of Rajon Rondo making some unbelievable passes, and his court vision and his basketball IQ was very good. So I went with Rondo.
Mark, another point guard, that can do an awful lot of good things. Now, one of them is shooting. What do you think on this matchup?
Again, that's his one and only limitation in my mindset. This matchup, Rondo's going to get this one. I was fortunate enough to be in Miami in the playoffs when Boston played the Heat. Whatever, I don't remember what year it was but Rondo went off for like 40 some points. And, some games he might score 8 to 12 and he has 18 assists. He always defends. He always found a way to get buckets though, because he could get in the paint, and he had moves and that, that little fake, which was like the dream shake, but he'd do things, and he was so creative. Court vision was so good. And again, he is as tough as anybody out there. I think that him at his best, I would definitely take him in this matchup. Kenny Anderson was a great player.
Yeah, he could score. He could score, and I think didn't Kenny Anderson come from New York? So you know that he had some toughness to him also. But Ray, what do you got?
Coach Mark, I got to lean on you again. This is a tough matchup if I remember right in my brain.
Yes, let's see. You took Kenny Anderson.
I'm going to take Kenny Anderson. Again, it probably is just a bias of, when it was more my wheelhouse, him playing, but yeah.
Okay, Kemba, Ricky Rubio, Ray.
Kemba Walker.
Kemba,
Ricky Rubio, I mean, when he came out of the draft, everyone was talking so high on him. And I don't know, maybe there was injuries, maybe whatever. But I just, you mentioned a couple of rounds whether it was Russell or whoever you're talking about, not living up to the potential or the hype. In my mind, that's him, just from my recollection. And Kemba Walker can fill it up, maybe whatever. Maybe I was thinking one-on-one matchup type thing, but I'm going Kemba Walker.
Kemba, he's another one. If you check him on YouTube, some of the things that he does to defenders, nasty. Ricky Rubio is just a guy, once again, has good court vision, but he can't make shots. So, everyone goes underneath screens. So he has a hard time getting to get to his strength, which is getting by people and creating for others.
Yeah.
So I took Kemba. Tyler?
Yeah, I took Kemba as well. He's obviously had a really good NBA career, but what really stands out to me is the run he went on when he was at UConn and in March Madness, and that always sticks out to me. And if you get a version of Kemba like that in the NBA, then you're gonna have a really good point guard. And obviously, he's shown that he can be a really good point guard for your team. So,
Mark, anything to add?
Just look it's Kemba. Look what the difference that the trade exchange of Kemba and Kyrie did for the Celtics. That's it.
End of story. All right, and the last one of the first round in our tournament, Drew Holiday versus Penny Hardaway. Let's go. All right. So I'll start. Obviously, Penny was one of my favorite. Because Magic was one of my favorites, so I love the big guards. And once again, I think Penny's career kind of got hurt here because of injuries. But once again, same thing. Big guy, taller guy. He could handle the ball. He could score. He could, create. So I'm Penny on this one, and little Penny. Ray.
Penny. Not much else to say. Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah, I'm Penny Hardaway as well. I will say Drew Holiday's had some pretty quiet seasons in his career. He's put up some decent numbers, but
Yeah.
that's definitely Penny.
Okay. So we'll go back to the top. And we are in the second round here. If I can move this over a little bit. Ooh. Okay. Well, I could collapse this. How'd that work? There we go. All right. So first matchup we have is Magic Johnson versus Chauncey Billups. So this is where it gets interesting. So let's go. So, well, maybe not this matchup, but second round here. Let's start. Tyler.
Yeah, I'm going Magic Johnson. Just with what he did in his career, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later. But Magic Johnson for me would beat Chauncey Billups every day.
All right, Ray.
Magic Johnson. He's gonna make a run for me for sure, and he's one of the greats of all time. The big guard, like you mentioned a second ago.
Mark.
Magic.
Yeah, like I said, Chauncey had a good career. He's a champion. He was leader. But you know what? NBA was in bad shape until Magic and Larry, and a little bit of Doc came in. So Magic change was a big part of change the game. Got it going. Got people excited to go. John Wall, Mark Price. I like this one. This right here. 16-17 matchup. Ray.
Well, it's interesting. I'm not even going to ask Mark. I don't care what I did last time. I'm going to go Mark Price in this one. This is, sort of people talk about like generation gap. This is that. It's just different styles, different eras, and all of that. But you guys sort of convinced me when you talk about, court leader, coach on the court, facilitator, high basketball IQ. I think there's probably categories where John Wall beats Mark Price. But in terms of leading my team, I'm going to have Mark Price here.
All right. Tyler.
Yeah, so I actually went with John Wall, and again, it could be just because I've watched John Wall play, but for many reasons, like we've already talked about, he's a great defender, but offensively, he can facilitate and play make for others. I think he's averaging over 9 assists for his career numbers, so he definitely sets people up for success on his team, and he can also get his when he wants. He's good around the rim, he's explosive. He can drop 30 on you if you need it. So I'm going John Wall.
Mark.
First off, Ray, you're staying consistent. You went with Mark Price.
All right.
I'm going with Mark Price, and this is a tough one. I think that if John Wall played 4 quarters, played in the fourth quarter of big games, I'd probably take him in this one. But I have seen him have phenomenal games in the last 5 minutes of some big games, not knock down the shots, not. I just don't like him in those moments, and I think athletically he's so superior to Mark Price, but that's my one issue with John Wall. I don't think he's great in clutch situations in big games.
Athletically, tools are there, and I'm with Mark. I love Mark Price and what he did at his size and his ability to knock shots down to be a leader of that good Cavs team. So I chose Mark. I would chose Mark Price here. I forgot Ray by that. Well, Mark? Were you Mark Price there, Ray?
Mark Price.
All right, so 3-1. Mark Price advances. All right, next matchup. Oh, flash! Here going. Kyrie versus Jay Will. Tyler.
Yeah, so I went Kyrie Irving. After this, I'm gonna have to look up some highlights of Jason Williams just to kind of see maybe what I'm missing. But Kyrie, great finisher at the rim, one of the best ball handlers we've ever seen in the game. He's shown that depending on the situation that he's in, he's maybe not the greatest leader and doesn't necessarily get along with the locker room, which I know can cause a lot of issues, especially for a position like your point guard. But I'm gonna go with Kyrie on this one.
Let's go, Mark.
I'm going with Jason Williams. You know how, again, if it was, how I feel about Kyrie. Again, look at the Celtics. That's the biggest thing is they didn't make a lot of changes. They kind of just traded out Kyrie, who, in my opinion, again, one of the top 5 probably one-on-one players I've ever seen. but he's not running my team. I'd rather have Jason Williams.
Ray.
Very similarly, I gotta probably, I would imagine, put the stats aside. Again, I didn't do my research, didn't do my homework like when I was in middle school and high school. But Jason Williams is just a guy that I love to watch. You know what I mean? And then, the knock on Kyrie is a bad attitude. So you put those two things front and center, and I'm taking Jason Williams every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jason Williams. Like I said, Kyrie, if he just had if he was more could handle a team player, I would, he'd be right up there. I mean, he's ranked 9th, but I'm pulling the upset with this one too. We want to get a guy. Jay Will was able to do a lot of the same things that Kyrie did, and not do them in a way that pushes the team away from him.
Does anyone know? I didn't check out for sure, but what the record was for Brooklyn with and without Kyrie this year? Because I remember at one point they were doing better with Spencer Dinwiddie running point than when Kyrie went out versus when he was playing.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I want to say you're right on that one.
Yeah,
I have no info.
Okay, I'm trying to find it right now, but I do believe that their record was better, and if not, it was very, very close. So if you have a player that great and he's a great leader, because again, he's the most talented player on the team. Taken away that obviously Durant's not healthy, but he just doesn't make his teammates better. He doesn't improve the value of the people around him.
All right, and then we've got Gilbert Arenas versus Isaiah Thomas to finish out this side here. Mark's looking up something. Tyler. No, I think I misspelled Isaiah there, but we won't go there. All right, Gilbert versus Isaiah. Tyler.
Yeah, I'm going Isaiah Thomas. Obviously one of the greatest point guards of all time, and just what he can do for your team offensively, and what he did over his career with the production. I'm going Isaiah.
All right, Ray.
First, you spelled Isaiah Thomas correctly. It was his mom that spelled it wrong, apparently.
Oh, good.
But I didn't pick Isaiah in the first round, and I think I have to stick with that. You guys brought up a lot of valid points, and you almost changed my mind. But I just have such a bitter taste in my mouth that I feel like I can't go with him. I want Gilbert Arenas leading my team over Isaiah Thomas.
Mark.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have to stay with Isaiah on this one. Again, one of the greatest point guards I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would pick. I hate to do it, but I would pick Isaiah over Gilbert. Once again, we've already said Gilbert can do a lot of good things, but Isaiah just had his way. He found a way to do what needed to be done. All right, Steve Nash and Darren Williams. Mark, what do you got in this one?
Steve Nash. I'll keep it simple. Steve Nash.
Ray.
It's honestly, as much as it kills me, it actually literally hurts my heart right now. I gotta go Steve Nash. I gotta go against my Illini dude, Steve Nash.
Tyler.
Yeah, I'm going Steve Nash.
I know. All I ever see is D. Will hitting that shot against Arizona. Yeah. But Steve Nash, he was special. He was special. One of my favorites. All right, KJ versus CP3. Mark, get us started with this tight matchup. 12 and 21.
Where we at? What did I do on this one? Chris Paul. Again, Chris Paul, I think is just a better floor leader, better distributor. Again, Kevin Johnson was fun to watch, explosive, could score. Chris Paul does it all.
Tyler?
Yep, I'm going Chris Paul as well. When I think of a point guard, Chris Paul is one of the first that comes to mind. So, Chris Paul.
Ray?
I'm going Chris Paul also, but you had mentioned it. It's a tough matchup, but Chris Paul just, a guy that I like and appreciate and all of that stuff.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I think I picked KJ, but Chris Paul, partly because because I'm not a huge fan of Chris Paul in terms of what he does, some things on the court, but he's in terms of non-basketball stuff, but he's awful good. So now we got D Rose and Damon Lillard. Tyler.
Yeah, so this one, man, this one really killed me. But even though I have a great love for Derrick Rose, I'm going to go with Damian Lillard in this situation. As I said before, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the game today. He's got unbelievable range, Steph Curry range. He can facilitate for his teammates. He's hit big shots in his career. I wish that they'd get him another piece in Portland, so maybe he can make a run at a championship. But as much as it kills me to say, I'm going Damian Lillard.
Ray?
I think I would go Derrick Rose on this. And you mentioned spelling Isaiah Thomas. I'm pretty sure you spelled Derrick wrong, but that's okay. There's like 100 different ways to spell Derrick. But that's all right. I'm sure Damian Lillard's probably a better player, but I just couldn't go against my heart in this one. It was close enough where my bias to Chicagoland area, could be the, what broke the tie. So I go Derrick Rose on this.
Mark?
This one was tough too, but I have to go with Damian Lillard. And I think that it's just following up on Tyler's point. And the range thing, I don't know if you've heard his recent interviews and stuff, but they asked him, he's been working on his range even more now, he said. And they're like, well, where's your range at? He said half court. He's like, and he said it dead serious, half court.
Yeah.
He feels 100% just as good at half court as he does on the line at this point. The guy just keeps amazing me. And I think what Tyler said too about surrounding him, I think they've put some good pieces in. But I think they've held on to the McCollum-Lillard thing too long because, again, it's hard to have two small guards. It's been proven throughout history when you look at it. Mm-hmm. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's fun to watch. They love playing together. But, you get somebody that can do what CJ does with some more size for defensive reasons and all that. I think that whole system changes. I just think he's that good, and I do think he's undervalued and underrated right now still.
I chose Damon also. What you guys, I missed a little bit of what Mark said, but I just, last year's playoff run kind of hits my head with, what he did, carried them for a while. So I went with Damon Lillard also. So that was 3-1, or is it 2-2?
3-1.
3-1. Okay.
Damian Lillard. And
hey,
honestly,
where did we go with the Kyrie one? I was looking, so I didn't. What was the verdict on Kyrie? Jason Williams? I know that was back.
Jason Williams. 3-1. Jason Williams. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, and the last matchup here, I think in this region, Trae Young, Jason Kidd, Ray.
Jason Kidd. And we had mentioned how Trae Young is a young NBA player. If we went 6 years from now and redid it, or 10 years from now, maybe he would go a little further. But in this matchup, it's Jason Kidd all day.
Tyler?
Yep, I agree. Jason Kidd.
Mark?
Yes, sir. Same thing.
J Kidd doing it up.
Yep.
AI, Baron Davis. Mark?
I'm sorry.
You want to go first, Ray?
I just there was like a pause, so I didn't. I see we got the countdown going now. Remaining time for the meeting. So Allen Iverson, AI.
Yeah, I'm going with AI.
Yeah,
I'm going with AI.
Tyler.
Yep, AI as well.
Yeah, no question that one. AI. Talking about toughness at 6 foot. If he was 6 foot, feared no one. Went at everyone. James Harden, Tim Hardaway. Mark, what you got in this one?
I got Tim Hardaway. Again, I will never argue with James' numbers, but I want him off the ball, just be a scorer. I just don't like the inflated stats. I've watched him play enough. Much like Russ, when they do pass, it's because they're drawing three people and saying, okay, I'll give it to this guy because he's open and I do have three on me. It takes three, not two. It takes a triple team before they give it up usually, but they're good enough that they draw triple teams and they get those assists. I just don't. They're not running point for me. Tim Hardaway is a great leader, great point guard.
Ray?
Mark, you bring up a lot of valid points, but I just think, fourth quarter game on the line, in my head, I just see James Harden making shot after shot after shot, and, having the ball, which you guys have already talked about at great length. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe in my mind, I'm putting point guard skills and leading team aside, but I kind of like the idea of having the ball in James Harden's hand down the stretch. So I'm moving James Harden on.
That's
Tyler?
fair.
Yeah, I'm going with Tim Hardaway, and I completely agree with everything that Mark said. And it's very hard for me personally to picture James Harden as being a point guard, just because I always picture him as a shooting guard and kind of being off the ball, which I know, in recent years he's had the ball in his hands a ton, but I give it to Tim Hardaway.
James Harden does some crazy stuff. It's Preston's favorite player, so we watch a lot of James Harden. We've gone to see him, James Harden. We were in Milwaukee, and we heard a lot of Preston learned a lot of new language describing James Harden from a lady that was a row behind us. But Tim Hardaway,
He's just jealous.
He averaged over 9 assists per game. And like I said, he was leader of that crew. So I had to lean towards Tim Hardaway also. And I agree with, I think, Ray, James Harden wants the ball at the end of the game, maybe, but overall I had to go with Tim Hardaway.
Now, you mentioned Preston and his favorite players, and I know, this isn't the episode or whatever, but I see him in that Booker jersey an awful lot. Like, where does Booker rank in terms of favorites?
I don't know. I'm a big Book fan myself, but he's up there. He's got a bunch of different jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go, Tyler. Tony Parker, Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah, I'm going Tony Parker. For a lot of the reasons that we've already talked about, but if you look at it just from a resume perspective, what Tony Parker's done in his career, and how he made everyone around him better, and he was obviously one of the faces of the Spurs franchise. So I'm going Tony Parker.
Mark?
Yeah, Tony Parker.
Ray?
I'm gonna go Tony Parker in this matchup, but I gotta ask Coach Mark, did I have Dennis Johnson in the Sweet 16 in my original bracket? You sort of hinted at that earlier.
You did.
No, I don't mind DJ and those Celtics. They're so great, but just through the course of this day, I guess my thought process has changed. Tony Parker moving on.
Are we going to have a lot of discussion with Gary Payton and Mike Conley? Does anyone? Because I'm Glove. Is anyone?
No, I'm Glove.
Okay.
Glove.
Mike Conley's like a glove light in my mind.
How about Steph Curry and Rondo? Anyone other
Steph
than
Curry?
Anyone
On.
have a fight for Rondo to beat Steph Curry in this matchup?
No.
Yeah. Okay. This next one, I imagine we might have a little discussion. So let's stop here and finish it. The last one.
All right.
All right. See you in a minute.
What am I doing here? Okay, peace.